Hi there, this is Divyang. I'll brief you through the assignment that we have completed. And as per the requirements, we have picked up AngularJS for this assignment. And yeah, the requirements for this particular web app is basically Node.js in the backend and grunt we have used as a continuous integration tool. Bower has been there for help us pick up libraries at will. Also we have karma as a unit test framework. I've also used various modules for Angular ng routes and Angular UI. We have also used Ruby version as this, and the gems version as this. This is particularly for used for sass tools, sass and compass. The way we start this tool for the demo is by pressing grunt serve. Just to give you a brief outlook on the tests, so just see if all unit tests are working well or not, and I probably believe they are. Okay, and then we use grunt serve to actually start our server and let the server render them locally. The views they would be rendered on port 9000, and this has been configured in the grunt file. This I'm showing you on Bing. We can alternatively also see them on our Chrome. Yeah, and we can also see them over Mozilla. Just to give you a brief outline, is these are all the firewall views, and once we click them we get to the detailed views, and this gives you a feeling of a button. And once we know what detailed views of each of these buttons are, we can actually hook them up on the on clicks that I'll show you in a short while. And as you can see, the moment we click for the next firewall, the earlier firewall gets concised, and you can have a view of the similar button features that are there. Same goes with another build views. If you see these are just some of the builds and the firewalls that have been implemented. We have fallen short of implementing the views, detailed views for running and the pending, and the reason being we were not very clear what the elements would be. I could have mocked a similar one, but that would ruin the whole feature around it. So I'll just brief you how we say. So theoretically analyzing the whole stuff, we can see that these are actually divided into two types of objects. One is the firewall object and other is the build object. The firewall object could have a state as accepted, rejected, running, and a build could have a state of pending or complete. And no build is complete if there is at least one is not complete unless it has at least one accepted, right, or the vice versa. So that is some of the assumptions that I've taken on our own, and I'll just brief you the code outline so that we are clear as to where we are in the organization. To build this particular web app, I've utilized the Yo framework, which I have given credits to in my README. So I've just given a follow some steps on this particular link 1 to 10 and copy paste the test app folders from the zip to the build area. Or vice versa, what you could do, what I did was set up node, set up npm, bower, grunt, sass, and the likes, and unzip the folder in your directory, just run apps, set up your paths, variables, and stuffs, and just run grunt serve and grunt test, and you should be good to go. If you see the organization of my files, it's pretty straightforward. There is an app directory and there's a test directory. Each app directory has a image and a scripts and a styles folder and the views folder. The scripts folder actually controls what gets rendered, and these are typically in three classes of files. One is the controller files, and the other is the directives files, and one of the important files that sets the data services files. I've used local storage as a medium of giving me information because I did not have much information. Once we can hook this with the actual API, RESTful APIs to get us the firewalls and the other views. If you see, I call this set data from the moment the service is loaded first time, and it just renders the builds and the firewalls. Okay. Then I have a main app, which is the app.js. This is my major app, and here I have added dependencies for this particular application, and this is my main controller, and this is my main view. The main view doesn't contain much, so don't bother about it. And the main controller actually goes about getting from the promise the data, and once it gets the data, it tries to, based on whether the build state is pending or accepted. I just happen to put it as a else, so that if something else comes up, it shows something, but ideally this must have been state else if build state completed or something like that. And this is actually a for loop that runs through the build names and appends the div onto the body part, and then it also appends the detail that you see on click onto the body part, compiles the whole stuff, and this is in the controller side, so it compiles it, and in this same loop it also adds the firewalls that are contained inside the builds with a different tag, however, one after another in a same sequence, where we say it's a detailed tag, or a running firewall, or a rejected firewall, and stuffs. Similarly, accepted firewalls. So based on this, you can go on and keep adding as many builds and firewalls to the page as possible. The way these tags get disambiguated is basically through a bunch of directives, and each directive actually has a template URL, which actually just gives some clicks, assignments, right, and then tries to use this HTML in the view and renders this particular data, which is time and other stuffs. This data could come from the firewall directly, from the data service directly, but I chose to give it via scope builds, the moment we get them from the controller, and this controller has been injected with the service. And so I've implemented some 9 or 10 directives, and it's a very it's a design where you can keep on adding more tags and just directing. So if you see, all files have less than 100 lines of code, 100, 110 maybe sometimes, but cumulatively I believe every file should have not more than 100 lines of code, and so it's kind of moduled in a manner that where not too much of code is cluttered and you know exactly where to go when a problem is encountered. Uh, Similarly, on the view side, if you see each of the templates that the tag refers to is present, and yeah, the whole stuff starts from index.html, where any new directives that are being added has to be plugged in here. Uh, in the distribution side, this is the place where the moment your code is ready, production ready, you can put it here. It gets minified automatically through the grunt, and it's rendered via the grunt engine. Yeah, so if you that's I just want to demo that it works on Firefox as well. Heart skips a bit the moment you click it. If you see, all the on clicks are actually coming from the directives, and this is where a detailed on click, meaning once it's here, this is the guy that's at play. This is the guy that's playing. So based on the parent or a target ID, we make a decision whether to just not flick it back. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. So I think once the design is ready, it takes not more than 3 hours to get this done. But to reach here took us time in terms of setting up the environment and getting the views pixel perfect. I think if you see, I've missed a return here. Okay. So yeah, that's about